Welcome back for week 15. This is Nick with DFS Bros. I'm here with Kirk. I'm just going to do a quick recap for last week's picks. I hit well with Mitch Trubisky, Derrick Henry, Allen Robinson. My defense and my tight end did not do so well. Kirk did fantastic with his quarterback, wide receiver, pretty sure his tight end, and his defense. Aaron Jones busted. That's fine. It happens to everybody. So let's move on to week 15. And Kirk, go ahead and let you start with your quarterback today.
So I'm going back to vintage Lamar. I'm thinking he's going to end up pretty much putting the team on his back this week against the Jaguars. Jaguars can't stop the run at all. He's pretty much the last two games averaged about 110 rush yards a game. He scored 38 points last week. This team has pretty much said they're going back to what they did last year to win the games. They need to make playoffs. The passing game is not working. He only passed the ball less than 20 times the last couple games, and they're just going back to their design runs. And this is a guy that is just electric with the ball in his hand. And Hollywood, he's not the guy that we thought he was going to be. And if you think that he's had a bad season, he still has 5 games over 26 points. And like I said, 38 last week. I think he just puts the team on his back and goes over 30.
Yeah, I like Lamar this week. I think until the fourth quarter, I think he only had maybe 50 passing yards. Not even that, I don't think.
And then what happened in the fourth quarter?
He took it.
He went and used the restroom.
Yeah. All right. So Kirk's quarterback is Lamar Jackson. My quarterback is Jared Goff of the Los Angeles Rams going against the New York Jets, or should I say New Jersey Jets. New York really only has Buffalo. So we've seen usually on big blowout games, usually it's you pick the running back. But this year with the Jets, we have seen teams get up early with their quarterback still getting 3-4 passing touchdowns. Last week, Russell Wilson had 4 passing touchdowns. The week before that, Derek Carr, I believe, had 3. Patrick Mahomes had 5, maybe? I don't know. Patrick Mahomes I think 5. We've seen quarterbacks have success against this really, really bad offense that you think would be better for running backs. So I'm going to go with Jared Goff. I think it's an onslaught for sure. It's like a 30-3 win. I'm hoping he gets 3 passing touchdowns early and then just run the rest of the game. So, Kirk, go ahead and tell me about your running back unless you have anything to add about Goff.
No, we've been liking picking on the Jets, picking on the Jags. It's pretty much the same thing. And we're going to go to running back now. So I'm going to take Alvin Kamara, who's only $7,400. Given the fact that now Breeze is the starter, this is a running back that we saw at the beginning of the year as high as 9,000. Yep. We also saw him score 40 points when Michael Thomas was out. Michael Thomas is officially out for this week. So he is going to be the offense. It's going to be a lot of dink and dunk, design plays. This whole offense is underpriced because of Taysom Hill. And now because Breeze is back, they're going to be, it's try to get as many of them in because of the price, and it's going to be a shootout. And it's hard to run it back on the other side, given the fact that Mahomes is the highest priced quarterback and Kelsey is $8K now. Still pretty good because he's pretty much an elite wide receiver. He's leading the league in receiving yards. But given the said that Kamara is only 7,400 and could get 10 receptions this game, I love him, and I think he's a complete lock.
Yeah, it's insane what Kelsey's been able to do today. I think he has the most games of over 100 receiving yards this year. Alvin Kamara, like Kirk said, no Michael Thomas. Drew Brees is back in. He's gotten cheap because Taysom Hill was such a bad quarterback for him. It's wild how bad of a quarterback he was. So, yeah, Alvin Kamara is a very good pick this week. I'll have Derrick Henry and Alvin Kamara in most of my lineups. My running back is Derrick Henry. As we know.
Go figure.
Yeah, go figure. Yeah, I think 3rd week in a row I've picked Derrick Henry as my running back, and I don't care. I'll pick him every single week the rest of the year. Just go ahead and lock him in for me. Fantastic matchup. Fantastic time of year. He should get over 200 yards. He should get a touchdown. He is the focal point of this offense once we get to the back half of the season. They're trying to make sure Tannehill is healthy for the playoffs. They're trying to make sure A.J. Brown is healthy for playoffs. They know Derrick Henry's body can withstand the touches he is getting. Lock him in for 30 touches this week, 200 yards, touchdown. It's very simple this week. Plug in Derrick Henry, plug in Alvin Kamara, figure out the rest.
Nick, remember when you told me that you didn't think they'd re-sign Henry?
Yeah, I honestly didn't think they would. I thought what they're doing the last few weeks, giving him 30 touches a game, I thought that was going to be an all-season thing. Run the wheels off of him and let him go to the next team. And they re-signed him. So, I mean, they're confident in him in the future. Hopefully he continues to do well next season and beyond. But, yeah, I like Derrick Henry a lot.
Yeah, get him in your lineups.
Mhm.
He's just absurd, and he's going to score 40. And it feels really sickening to try to build lineups without him.
Yeah. All right, Kirk. Go ahead and tell us about your wide receiver.
So my wide receiver is Brandon Ayuk with no Kittle, Mostert banged up, and no Debo now. He received, I believe, 16 targets last week. He has a lot of games over 20 points, and pretty much every time he gets on the field, he scores 20.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to do it again this week against an awful secondary. We used to think how bad Seattle was and picked on them at the beginning of the year. Now everyone's picking on Dallas. Dallas's cornerbacks are all hurt, all backups. It's a bad secondary, and there's no one up there that can keep or contain Ayuk this week.
Yeah, Brandon Ayuk is a great pick, and I love it a lot. My pick for wide receiver is, surprise, I am stacking my wide receiver with my quarterback, but it's going to be Robert Woods instead of Cooper Kupp. I think they're both great options this week. But Kirk and I were both talking before we were recording. Cooper Kupp is being phased out of the offense a little bit. Robert Woods is safe. He's always going to be on the field. Very high snap percentage for him. Jared Goff trusts him a lot. He should get a lot of points, especially since it's PPR. Goff loves throwing the slants to him. Robert Woods is safe, especially against this Jets defense that can't tackle anybody. Look at him to get a touchdown or two at least. So, Kirk, you got anything on Robert Woods?
Yeah, for y'all who don't know, the Rams are running a lot of 12 personnel, meaning they have 2 tight ends on the field. Right now, they're running the ball a ton. That's why Akers had 29 rush attempts last week.
Mm-hmm.
But for his Kupp's not a good outside receiver. He's elite, like top slot receiver in the league. Mm-hmm. But when he goes to the outside, he just cannot do press coverage. And he's a big guy. It just doesn't make much sense. But we have a big sample size on this, and everything says just go to Woods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it a lot. Kirk, go and tell us about your tight end.
So tight end, I'm going to go with this Jared Cook again. I just think that the whole Saints offense is underpriced. Right now, the Chiefs are allowing, I think, top 3 points to the tight end over the last 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. Over the last 3 or 4 weeks, they're number one. They had Gesicki score over 20. They had Gronk score over 20. Waller scored over 20. And now with no Michael Thomas, he could get 5 to 8 targets. Jared Cook looks like a great play this week at only 3,400.
Yeah, I love Jared Cook this week. I probably like him more than the tight end I'm picking, but my tight end picking is also just as safe. Cole Kmet for the Chicago Bears. He has basically taken over Jimmy Graham's spot in the last few weeks in this offense, but also made it better. He is a fantastic red zone target for Mitch Trubisky. He had a big game last week, a big game the week before, and a big game the week before that. I think the streak continues. It's just lining up for this week to be a good week for him again. Kirk, unless you have anything to say on Cole Kmet, go and tell us about your defense.
So my defense this week is going to be the Rams defense. We're going to pick on Sam Darnold. Hopefully he sees ghosts this week and has one of those 20, 30-point defensive games where he just feeds the other team. But the main reason is the Jets have given up. The Rams are insane at home. They're averaging 15 DK points at home. And when you can start off with a floor of 15 and a ceiling that the Jets could give you, we just saw Seattle score 40 on this team and hold them to 3. This is a much better defense. It could be a shutout. Like I said, last game the Rams scored 21 against the Patriots, and I think it could be even worse this time.
Yeah, it's been very sad to be a Jets fan this year. I'm so glad that I'm an Eagles fan where it's not that sad.
You get one win with a new quarterback.
Hey, man, we beat the Saints. We almost beat y'all. So my defense is the Seattle Seahawks going against Washington football team, who will be starting Dwayne Haskins this week. As you all know, Dwayne Haskins is not that great of a quarterback. He's very immature. He makes a lot of mistakes, very prone to interceptions, prone to fumbles. Ron Rivera will probably go out there and tell him, just don't be stupid. And Dwayne Haskins is going to go out there and be stupid. And that's another thing is his like intellect is against the way that he's playing is not that great. Like I said, makes a lot of mistakes. Seattle's been very sack happy since they traded for Carlos Dunlap, which I feel like Kirk and I have been mentioning since they traded for Carlos Dunlap. This defense is a lot better than it was the first half of the season. They're starting to mesh together, play well together. Yeah, I mean, Seattle should be a good defense to pick this week. Kirk, before we close out this video, do you have any other players you'd like to mention, any tricks or tips or anything for this week that you'd like to mention before we close out?
It looks like a pay up at running back spot. There's multiple running backs. There's Leonard Fournette that's going to be cheap. Look for injury news. There's always going to be injury news. Pay down at wide receivers. You can always find those 3-4K guys that score 15.
Mm-hmm.
But for the guys who score 40, like Derrick Henry, you have to have them on your team.
Right.
Cam Akers looks like a great pick. Jonathan Taylor, insane. We're seeing his true potential. But right now, just locking in Kamara and Henry and having two guys with that 40-point upside, it just looks like a great way to build.
Yeah, I was about to mention Cam Akers if you didn't mention him. I think he's a great play this week. It's very rare you're able to have a quarterback, running back, wide receiver you can put all in the same stack, but I think you are able to do that with Goff, Akers, and Robert Woods.
And if Mostert sits, look at Wilson, who we've also seen score over 25 points.
Yeah, it's a weird week. I think the highest game total for this slate is 51.5. Sometimes we'll get a few games where it's like 54, 55. But it looks like it's going to be a low-scoring week, so you're going to have to make sure you get the right guys. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and close out this week. Thank you for checking us out. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, follow us on Twitter. Those will be in the description of the video. So you all have a good week 15.